Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I'm back with another replay that I took from the front page of drop.sc, and I'm hitting Shift-O, and the interface is not cooperating with me yet again, so I'm just going to leave it alone for a while and see how that goes. In the upper left-hand corner, spawning as our Zerg in the blue trunks, I give you all LiquidSnute. He's got some pretty wicked ZVZ. He'll do some of the most unorthodox stuff anybody will ever see, but as long as he's still in the game, he's still fighting. And, you know, he's had an excellent run at WCSNA. So that's the whole reason why I decided to go ahead and take this replay and cast it. Lower left-hand corner spawning is our red Terran, culotttemaron. Okay, so from now on I'm just going to call him Marin. Let's see how that goes. Okay, hitting D, Control N, and it looks like the replay timeline still doesn't want to go away, so I'll just deal with it for the time being. Wait. Oh, go figure. I'm holding some kind of button that I shouldn't be. Or at least my keyboard registered it as doing such. Yes, for some strange reason, my keyboard has a problem with getting the Alt key stuck. All right, now it looks like we're going to have, I'm looking like, well, I'm thinking, okay, so our red Terran looks as though he could just be going for an Expo, excuse me, a 1-Rax Expo, or at this stage, I would be willing to say it's still possible that we're going to see a Reaper, simply due to the fact that, yes, there we go. The SCV is now putting the gas down on top of that. And it looks like Snute's going to go ahead and go for a spawning pool first and then follow it up however he wants. All right, nothing too terribly unusual about all of this. I mean, there's always a different way to read into something from every different angle. Everybody's got a different view on something. But, of course, I myself feel that this one is rather unusual as well. All right, so we do have the drone coming out here. Going to get put on to patrol mode. He's opening against Terran like he's opening against Protoss. I'm not entirely sure what that's all about, but we'll find out in the near future. Maybe it was a simple mistake. Who knows? culotttemaron. I'm just going to call him Maroon from now on. And we have a Reaper coming out from him right now, by the way. Okay, so I thought I'd go ahead and just share with you all, since we do have just a teeny bit of macro time for the time being, what exactly I'm doing. And that would be the simple fact that I have gotten a program going with TESL on the front page of TeamLiquid.net. They're going to go ahead and give me replays now for StarCraft 2. And this is actually pretty big because it's very exclusive, and very rarely does anyone get access to these kinds of replays. We're talking like, this is like MLG style control that they're having over their replays. Like they've got copyrights and everything else in between, but taking our attention, snapping it into the game right now as it is, we do have a bunker going down here, not for Marines, but instead for Reapers on Maroon front, going down by Maroon onto his opponent's natural, and is he gonna get that drone kill? No, but he's gonna have a hell of a time with the Queen over here. No, just gonna have him running around, and this is interesting. Snoot's gonna go ahead and just throw down a Roach Warren just straight up. He's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna deal with this. And the question is, what is he going to do from here? Is he going to turn this into a roach timing attack, or is he going to just turn this into enough roaches to deal with the bunker and then get on with his day? We don't have metabolic boost in the mix just yet, and there's more than enough gas here, but this Reaper's going to come in here from culotttemaron and possibly get some eyes on that, but no, wait, it's looking like, okay, he's trying to find a scouting path. He can't get in there and scout. So this is actually going to be really critical. The longer he goes without knowing about this Roach Warren, the more trouble he's actually in, and we actually see that he's going for a triple command center opening. So this is, while economically expediting, it's going to make a huge amount of trouble for him, as we already see 7 roaches out in production now for LiquidSnute. Now, how's he going to follow this up? That's a real question. Oh, man. I don't know. This could end up being a really short game. It could be a really long one. Oh, but the Reaper's coming in here. They're trying to get some workers, and I don't think that they actually managed to snipe one. These 2 roaches are going to stay back and try and deal with those Reapers, and the Reapers basically kited the attention of those roaches long enough to do whatever they so pleased. Now we have Maroon just in a huge heap of trouble. He's desperately trying to crank out some Widow Mines, but what he's really going to need is the Marauders. Those are going to be the key piece to holding his ground against everything that comes from Snute in the upcoming future. I'm pretty sure Snute's going to know better than to send all of those roaches up the ramp. I mean, he is, of course, after all, a high-ish GM on the European ladder, or so I imagine. But oh boy, he splits them. He splits them. That is good in itself, but he's not quite ending it all. And there it is. 6 roaches now going down and trying to do whatever damage they can. With the Marauder and the Roach. Actually, the Marauder and the Mine actually deal with the forward Roach there. And the second Roach actually falls as well. Now we have, it seems as though Snoot's just not trying to overcommit to this, but ouch, we do have Snoot going to lose the drone as he tried to take a third behind this. He thought he had his opponent contained. That's not a flawed line of thinking. And now it looks like he managed to take that down, and there's going to be no economic damage done here, save for perhaps the delay of an expansion. He did force our Red Terran to pick up. All right, and behind this we have Snoot trying to do whatever he can. And if it's one thing that I may just highlight it, and it just annoys the hell out of me, it's whenever we have a top bottom spawn on a on the minimap, because then I can't really read. I can't have an easy time telling the players apart. It's like, who spawned on the left side, who spawned on the right side? They're both even distance from each other. And it's north side and south side. It's just, anyway. Just something that kind of bothers me. These Lings are going to take down the Reapers, who've been containing him for so long. Now, going into the analytical side of things just a bit, ideally in this kind of position, if you are unpressured, you should be taking your third around the 6 minute mark. 7 minutes would have been acceptable for the amount of resources that we'd actually seen Snoot kind of expend here for just the past moment or so. Behind this, like, I think we see impenetrable defenses here as we have Snoot trying to get into his opponent's natural, not really succeeding at it. Behind this, there's no third for our Terran. So this is making me wonder as the game goes on, who's going to be further ahead? Going back to the production, however, we do have a lot of Hellions in the mix, and I'm just a little curious, did Snoot actually see those Hellions? He's got to know that a majority of the units that his opponent has right now that came from that factory with the reactor, it was all Widow Mines. But does he have what it takes to hold against what's coming his way right now? I mean, his opponent saw the Roach Warren, but at the same time, he's not really frightened by that. He's like, okay, well, if I don't try and throw Hellions at my opponent, it's not going to work. And now we have this astounding amount of economic damage that is going to slowly but surely come into the natural of LiquidSnute and possibly shut down his economy, if even just temporarily. But meanwhile, the roaches are just about to pop. 2, 3, 4 of them are ready to go, and it looks like we're going to have Snoot's third possibly in a bit of trouble, but there's only one drone here, so in terms of economic damage, our red guy got the short end of the straw, and he's gonna, he just got away with basically 5 kills over this course of this game, and it could have been, I don't know. But behind this, we have a bio transition. This could have possibly made Snoot think that, okay, well, my opponent's going for a mech transition, but of course that overseer has vision of 4 barracks of the 6 or so that are in his opponent's main, along with 2 engineering base. 4th base already up and running for Snoot as well. Not quite running, but it will be in the near future. He's just got to realize, okay, I need to put some workers on that. But now we have our red Terran, moving out to terrorize Snoot presently. And the question is, will he be able to hold against this or not? I mean, he's got some roaches, yes, but he doesn't quite have everything it's going to take to hold against this. He doesn't have the Banelings, and even then, the Banelings are kind of hard countered by all these Widow Mines. Sending in mutas one at a time will not be effective. There's a huge bunch of Marines, and this is one of the most bizarre unit compositions I've ever seen, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we're going to see our Red Terran get the snipe on this third, and Snoot's not even concerned with pulling the drones. Even the SCVs are attacking them right now. Not in a node of BM, but rather in a simple node that we have the Red Terran trying to attack everything he can, and Snoot is actually racking up a good deal of worker kills here as well. He's trying to do everything he can to shut down his opponent's economy at the natural, doing a damn good job of it at the same time, but here we are. I think this could end up boiling into a sort of base trade scenario. We got a lot of Banelings in the mix right now. The Widowmine's not getting burrowed just yet, and they are connecting with the Hellions and the Widow Mines, but there's still a huge chunk of bio left there. Will we see Snoot able to hold against this? Meanwhile, the natural just falling apart again. The third is now up and running for our Terran. And now our Terran desperately stimming up, but he has to be careful with every single time that he stims, because he doesn't have a medevac there to heal any of the units. There it is, the Banelings and the Roaches connecting the way they need to. This one Marauder going down to the very bitter end, but still alive. And then it finally falls. It looks like all the mutas except for these two have been wiped out, and I think we're going to have Snute try and continue to push in. He has the superior number of workers killed in this game. He's got a larger army supply. The question is, what can our Terran do to buy himself back into this game, if anything? Well, he's got a bunch of Marauders, so as long as he uses those correctly, he makes sure that the Banelings connect uselessly, if you will, then he might be in an okay position. But behind this, it looks like LiquidSnute has, behold, lo and behold, found an exposed third orbital command. And it's just a matter of time, I feel, before our Terran... Ah, oh, jeez. He's gonna lose all those workers. I think Snute was actually baiting that? That was a huge window of opportunity to inflict some real economic damage, but Snute missed it. And behind that, his opponent built up some army supply. And now the Banelings are trying to go in here, making the connections as best they can. The Roaches are all that's left over, and they're getting chased down by some concussive shell Marauders. And now the supply depot is falling apart, burning. But it's okay. I think, Snute, he did lose a few workers there. He managed to kill more of his opponent's workers, ideally where he should be with that number. And those Lings running right by all these Marines. I don't know. That's kind of just, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, guys. Reflexes. Okay, so numbers building back up for both players again. Third, I believe, was forced to lift up for just even a slight second. Banelings, of course, morphing right now. But of course, behind all this, I would like to take the moment to highlight that our Terran is actually mining off of 2 bases. Yes, I know that's pretty big, but one of them has already gone dry. If he was to adequately reappropriate all of his SCVs, then perhaps he would be much, much further ahead in income than our Zerg, who's on the same number of bases. And here we go. The Banelings are trying to connect as best they can. The Widow Mines, the Marine splits, not quite as immaculate as they should be, but the streaming reinforcements of Marines will be able to handle this with, I think, very little trouble. But these Lings, again, coming back, it looks like the SCVs are going to have to be pulled to really hold against this, and the medevacs are healing them as best they can. These hero Marines saying, "Tank for us! We're the ADCs!" But behind this, more streaming reinforcements as we see our third receiving more and more harassment from LiquidSnute. This one Widow Mine coming in, and ooh, Snute pulls those Lings back just in time. Instead, what he's going to do here is he's just, again, salting the wounds of his opponent by taking down those missile turrets. And he's going to try and stream in, it looks like, some more mutas as well. At this stage, we have our Zerg on layer tech. Does he have centrifugal hooks? He does. I was actually thinking that for some strange reason with the last assault, he did not have them. I was actually under that impression for some strange reason, perhaps simply because of the way the Banelings connected, the amount of workers that were not killed, and so on and so forth. But now the Widow Mine has been jerked, and we have Snute moving in for some kind of a kill, but luckily we've got culotttemaron already pre-splitting in his natural, and this is an engagement that is not going well for Snute at all. In fact, he's lost so much, ouch, even more, just a little bit more than his opponent. Actually, 7,000 minerals more, but I mean, of course, mutas are 100 each one. Both players kind of going dry in the mains, excuse me, as you can see for culotttemaron. And we're going to have the orbital command try and land back here at the third for our Terran. If we actually see any workers go back down on that, then LiquidSnute's going to be, in a hellhole for his income. Why is that? Just look at how high his opponent's income is with a single oversaturated natural base. And now finally Mule's going down here? Bro. Tell me. It's going to make so much trouble for Snute to really handle this. There it is, the income. It's going to skyrocket as we do have the Mules here. We've got the SCVs getting unstacked. It is oversaturated nonetheless, make no mistake about that. But as long as it's here, we're going to see a huge, if even just temporary boost in income and production for our Red Terran. Snute just not in a position to really make anything happen. He's trying to morph some banelings in behind this, and I just don't think that's going to be enough. If he had Burrow, then hell yes, that would be great, but at the same time, I don't think this is enough. He's morphing more banelings behind this, as this is going to come all down to the connections. The Medivacs! And right now, I think we have Snute trying to face check his Terran opponent, splitting those Marines as majestically as possible. That one baneling chases down all those guys, turns them into a bunch of orange and red health paddlers, if you will. And now Snute is about to take... He's going to take a lot of damage here at the third. The baneling's connecting as best they can. Beautiful connections at that, because our Terran thought he was out of banelings. But again, I think this only delays the inevitable for Snute. He's at 20 supply as opposed to his opponent's 76, and that's not including what is basically over here. This is how, Terrans can play like Zerg, if you will. Like, simply due to the fact that if they have a lot of barracks, they're going to be able to crank out as many units as they can. Even if they just have to wait. It looks like there was some medevac drop harass here in the main. Even if it just means that they have to get that extra mining base up and running. Sure, the main here, it's going on gas, yeah, but I think if we were to just see this one get taken here and this one get taken here, and to see our Terran build more refineries over here, then lift off that orbital command and put it here, then he would be okay. But now it's beyond that point already. It's beyond the point where he has to make money. It's just keeping his army alive. The whole reason why he basically didn't do too well as he was moving on to Snute's third or fourth, whatever have you, is the simple given fact that he was not paying attention to his main force as the banelings, the banelings and the links made their connections as best they could. Also adding to that would have to be the upgrades. He's got 2 attack, 1 carapace. Excuse me, 2 attack, 1 shields. And now we have the death stim coming in as culotttemaron is moving in on the third. Yes, unpronounceable names for the lose, ladies and gentlemen. Stim and aim moving on the drones. This is damage that is not recoverable that we see being done to Snute right now. Queen coming in, trying its best to do what it can to that. Oh, man. To that Widow Mine. It took it down. Baneling's coming in here, trying to connect as best they can, but now there's nothing here. He says, GG, great performance. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if LiquidSnute GGs you and tells you great performance, he means it. He really does. That's something not to be taken lightly. Snute is one of the, I want to say, most abstract and at the same time highly mechanical players for StarCraft 2 in the European scene. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Breaker. I will see you guys next time.